everyone, Sophia here from my great challenge. Welcome back to my channel. This is day 2 of my garage door repair and makeover. Painting, really. It's not a fun task, I gotta be honest. I'm kind of dragging my feet here. It's a little chilly. I check the temperature on the paint. Let me see. Because I checked online, but I want to make sure. I think it says you can paint up to 35 degrees. Yeah. Temperature has to remain between 35 and 90. It's 52, so we're good. Same thing with the caulking. So it's chilly for me, but not for the paint, basically. The sun is somewhat coming in. I don't know. I'm a little chilled this morning. It's 10:30. I'm ready to get started. What do I need to do? I'm going to start with sanding down the putty that I put in yesterday. Then I have to caulk all the edges, and then I can paint. Scott bought the wrong seal yesterday when he went for me to Home Depot. He purchased the seal that is, I don't know if you can see, U-shape, which means that you need to have the track to put it in. Obviously, I don't, so I need the other kind of seal, which is what I had before. And he went to the garage door section for that, and I think that's something that you find in the weather stripping area or aisle, so he has to go back. So I don't know if he can do it today. So I don't know if I can put the seal back on today, but basically you cut it to size and you just hammer it in, like no big deal. You know, if I can do it today, I'll post picture on Facebook and Instagram so you can see it. And then I have to oil everything with the lubricant, all of the gears and the wheels and all of this stuff, and we'll see if it makes a little bit less noise. So that's it. So let me get my sanding blocks and I'm going to start sanding. But first I have to remove what I put on yesterday. You remember I had the C-clamp? So let's remove that and see whether or not this is holding in place, and then start sanding. And again, you're going to be backlit. So this is the stuff I put up yesterday. Remember I had this block here in front of this. Oh yes, it's not going anywhere. So this is totally blocking the hole that I had. So let's go look at it on the other side. And remember I said I was doing some Rube Goldberg operation here, okay? So this is not going anywhere. So all I have to do is sand it a little bit. Yeah, I have those 2 pieces here. Not a big deal. I did fill up the back of the hole with the caulk and stuff, so that's gonna have to harden, but the hole is pretty much filled. I have a little bit of a crack here, but that's gonna go away once I put the paint. So let me go ahead and start sanding. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start with sanding this because I want to see how smooth I can get it. Really glad sanding is over. I think I got sand all over my hair. You saw me wear a mask, huh? Okay. I did at the beginning, and then I realized, you know what, let me wear a mask because my sinus is already a mess. So anyway, I'm ready for caulking. I think I spent an hour sanding. This is crazy. This is Alex Plus DAP all-purpose acrylic, latex, caulk plus silicone, 40 years is what it says, and it's ready to paint in 30 minutes. So I like this one because of how fast it dries. Wait, I gotta cut this first. So I'm gonna do all of the caulking. Come on. First on both doors, and then, why are you not cutting? Okay, and then I'll start painting. So I bought Bear Pro paint in bright white. That's a satin finish. Satin is better for outdoors. You can do gloss, but if you do matte, which is what I had before on these, what happens is that all the dirt sticks to it. And then you can't really wipe it off. Well, you could, but it's... Garage doors do gloss or satin. Okay, so this is ready. And this is a stain blocking paint. Wow, that's heavy. Paint and primer in one. I have no arm strength. So that should do the trick. All right, let's get caulking. I'm doing all the sides, the inner part of the frames of the panels. Why? Even though they are kind of sandwiched in between the two frames, the reason why I'm doing that is because you can see when you push on them that they're kind of moving away from the vertical bars, and also so that the water and the elements, the cold and all of that, doesn't get lodged in it. Trying to get my garage door to last another 5 years, basically. Done. Everything is caulked. Took a while, but it's done, so not too bad. And then this area here is starting to look a little bit more polished. Can't wait to see it painted, which I'm going to start now. So I have the two doors done. I'm gonna shake my paint and mix it well. Start with brush, and then I'll do roll for the large surfaces. You know, because I don't want to spend the whole day doing it on brush. I don't want to see the brush strokes. That's basically what it comes down to. So I'll do all the corners first, and then the top, the hard to reach areas behind the frame with the paintbrush, and then I'll do the roll for all of the flat surfaces, anything that's not a corner. So let me get started. Well, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I gotta be honest, I'm really cold, so I'm gonna stop. I didn't do this one yet at all, but this one has one coat, and it's just too cold. I can't finish it, so I'm gonna have to work next weekend or
Later on during the week, if I come home early and it's still kind of like in the upper 50s, lower 60s, but right now it's like 48 and it's just too cold for me. But you can see it's looking pretty good and seriously different. Once I have all the glass cleaned out, you know, all the paint drips removed and all of this cleaned out. The white you see is the powder from the sanding, but the bottom part is not all that obvious. Let me move back. And from the back you really can't see it at all. Maybe the bottom part that's horizontal, I could have made it a little bit shorter, but it doesn't really matter. I covered the hole and I have one coat of paint. With two coats it's gonna look really, really nice. It's gray right now, it might rain tonight, so I'm giving it enough time to cure before the rain. Can't wait to see this done. What am I gonna do for the rest of the day? I'm not sure. Here's Scott coming back from the supermarket, and he did finish the deck, by the way. He got 3 coats now on the deck, so that's good. But this is what it looks like from the kitchen. You can really see the difference in color. And again, the bottom part you really can't see anymore, so that's good. I think I'm gonna have a hot tea, and I'm probably, after I wash my hands, I'm probably gonna go downstairs and quilt. It is, what time is it? It's 2:45, 2:45. Okay, so that's not too bad. It's really just too cold. I just can't, it's no good. I'm not comfortable. So I'm gonna go downstairs and quilt, just like in the last video. If quilting is not your thing, I say goodbye now. I will see you next week when I finish the project. And thank you, Scott. And then if you want to stick around, I'm going downstairs and quilt. So I'll see you in a bit. Hey, so welcome back to my happy place. It's about to get happier. You remember how I told you I was going to expand the quilting area and the sewing area? That's the, yeah, I'm doing laundry. It's actually a totally different day, I think you can tell that. Because when I was done with my Sunday garage stuff, I was gently reminded by the boys that they needed new sneakers, so we ended up going out and getting the boys new sneakers. So anyway, this area here you know about. There's a few things I want to show you, and I hope you don't mind. So I got a few things in the mail, and I really like them. This one was sent to me by Dee. It's really cute. It says sewing forever, home, housework whenever. Yeah. This is so me. So I really like this, and that's gonna stay here. And then, I don't know if you can see it. Let me bring the camera closer. And then Elizabeth, Liz, made me this. And by hand, and it says breathe. I think it's beautiful. It's so cute. So it's here for now, but I think I'm gonna move it. You'll see in a second. And then I got this in the mail. It came from China, but it didn't have an address, a return address. So whoever sent me this, you made me very happy. I don't know who you are. It was very thoughtful, and yes, this is my happy place. So I'm just putting it here for now, but it's gonna move somewhere else, I'm sure. And you notice I finally got this, right? So when I say I'm going to expand, what am I talking about? Well, you know I go garbage pick, right? And I found 2 dressers, identical white dressers. When was it? This Tuesday. And a light bulb went up. So one of my next project is going to be to do an actual sewing table. So I'm going to show you that right now. And I might as well give you a tour of the basement because it's really clean for once. Right, so you all know when you come down to my basement, you get directly into my happy place. So this, all of this you've seen before. This is where I stash all my fabric and my future cutting table. Right now I still have the sewing machine on it. And this is usually where I sit and when I film. And if you remember, I have the vintage Barbies here, bunch of projects I'm still working on. But now on this side, this is what's going on. I found these 2 dressers on the curb, brought them in, and the intention, I think you already figured that out, is to apply wood to the top and do a L-shape table right here. So I have the chair fitting right in, and my machine is going to be there. So imagine if this is all covered, right? My sewing corner has been expanded, so I'll have my cutting table over there, because I have to be honest, when I'm cutting I actually have to move the machine. So now it's perfect. I can just sew here, and of course the light is working. Oh, hold on. So you see I have plenty light. I may even add some more, so let me pull out a little bit. So that will be my sewing. So again, L shape. So I don't know if I'm going to film that. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And then my model is here. For those of you who don't know, this is my laundry room. It's actually quite clean, and yes, there's a toilet in it. I have to put all of those upstairs, and then over here I'm keeping the stuff that I'm about to put up for sale. So there's some. It's actually going down in terms of amount, because I have more upstairs, but I have been kind of tied up and busy. But now I'm going to show you the rest of the basement, because there's been some changes. So this is the actual sitting room for the basement, and I think that some of you who know my channel well already noticed a missing piece that was rather huge, and that would be the red chair. Where is the red chair? The red chair has been moved to Edward's room at his request. So now instead of where I had the red chair, I put my dehumidifier there. I just turned it off because it makes a lot of noise. It used to be right here before. So why did I do this? Well, he wanted the red chair, so I figured, well, you know what, that's fine, because we're really not doing movie night downstairs anymore. We're doing movie night. Isn't it look great? We're doing movie night upstairs, so we don't really need extra seating. So this is really just the area where the kids come in and play video games. And I decluttered a little bit. I removed the reef that was there. I put some pictures of the boys. You know me, I'm not big on pictures, but I had to put some of my favorites. And this is 2 Christmases ago, or last Christmas, I can't remember. No, that was last Christmas. And this was pumpkin picking a while back. So all of this, and then this chair here is a spare chair that I have that I can't part with, because it's just beautiful. So the basement with my area over there, and guess what? Even the what I call the tool shed, which really is not a shed. I'm going to blind you. Sorry. Even this area here is nicely organized. These are the 2 boxes for the mop system that I have to do as a giveaway. But everything is nicely organized. Like if I want a light bulb, all the light bulbs are in here. These are kind of like the odds. You know, stuff that doesn't really require, well, items I only have one of, and so I don't need boxes for. So I have the glue gun in there, the stapler, things like that. But otherwise everything is organized pretty nicely. All the tools, the electric, the power tools are here. So yeah, this is looking pretty darn good. Hopefully we keep it clean. I can't wait to do the table here. I think it's gonna look really cool, and it gives me, it's very high quality, by the way. What's the name of it? I have to paint the back. It's called Lineage. I'm not sure, Lineage. But it has really cool, awesome drawers. I'm already kind of stashing things in there. You know, putting a few items. So all of my notions are gonna go in there, and the table top will go this way all the way here, and then it'll make the angle and then go that way. So the machine will basically be right here. It'll give me enough space to sew, but when I need to quilt a large piece, I'll have to move the machine to the big table so that I can have like the bulkiness of the quilt over there. So that's just what I wanted to show you. Progress being made. I've decluttered quite a lot. Oh, I don't think you saw this. I found that on the street. I may not keep it, I don't know. It's a dress form made of wire. I may put something on it because I have my 1950s advertisement for old cars. So I was thinking it'd be cool to have something 1950s added here. But again, this is kind of like for the boys, this space here. So I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I'm very happy with the basement. It's looking really, really clean. But I'm here for quilting, right? So guess what? Let me put the camera on the tripod. This is finished. It's quilted. All I have to do is the binding, and that's what I'm going to start today. So if you remember, I'm making this table runner for my former administrative assistant, who's now a friend of mine, because we hit it on really early. So she's been a friend for almost 6 years now. And I made this table runner because she's a cat lady, not a crazy cat lady. So yes, my machine is back, by the way, and it was the timing and it needed a factory reset. So now it is sewing like a charm. So let's pick this one because it's the right side up. All right, so what did I do? I did different colors because I didn't want, I wanted contrast, I guess. I did pebbles in gray all around the cat. The cat itself is not quilted, but I do have purple. I don't know if you can see it right here. So I have purple as a cross on all of the 4 patch, and then I have purple here on the stippling, here and here. And then this is looking a little bit darker, but it actually is not. This is the same gray than this. But what I did is that I took, and you probably can see, like maybe here you see a little bit. What I did is that I took the pencil, the sewing pencil, this type right here, except that this one obviously needs to be resharpened. And I drew the little squiggle and stars, and then I went over the drawing with free motion. So some of them have 2 stars, some of them have 3 stars. The stars are not all the same, and that's fine. So when you look at it from the back, I have some areas where it's purple, and you see how I finally got the right stitch here. Oh, it was a nightmare. So you can see the cross here and the stippling, and then you can see the back of, which actually looks pretty good, except some eyelashes right here. That's okay. Never claimed to be a pro. So some of it is in gray in the back, and that's the cross that's right in between right here. So I'm not doing any stitch in the ditch for the cat. I'm just leaving it like that. It's not large pieces, that's fine. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to cut the fabric, and I've decided to do the binding in black. The same black than this. It doesn't have any pattern, it's just solid. Why? Because I have enough fabric. I could do it in yellow, but I think that it would shrink the whole runner itself. You know, I mean, aesthetically, I think it's better to keep the focus on the cats and the star, so a black binding is probably the best option. Let me know what you think of my little idea here of doing an L-shaped table. You know, I gotta be honest, I never thought I was gonna get that much into sewing. It makes me very happy, and it's my, that's what I do. Self-care is very important, especially with what's going on out in the world right now. You have to have an outlet, and this is perfect for me. Not because it's a solitary outlet, but because I enjoy doing something with my hand. I think I've mentioned it before. I am very tactile
Am I gonna cut it at 2.5 or 3? Okay, basically I'm doing bands and I'm gonna cut them at 3 inches.
Sing, won't you sing with me? Leave everything for me. Stay the night. Oh, miss your flight.
Right, so that should do it. This goes back in here. Don't need that. Okay, so we got 1, 2. Yeah, that's gonna be enough. Okay, so what do I do next? Join them. Right, so I'm joining them. So technically I'm taking one like this and I'm putting one like that. And you want to keep about 1/4 of an inch on either side, right? And you just basically sew straight line from here to here, like this. So I know it's hard to see because it's black on black, but I've basically done a stitch straight line from here to here. Right, so now when I flip it like this, the whole band is joined together. And I'm going to do that with all my 6 bands, but I do need to cut the excess here. And then all of this will get ironed. I'm going to keep the little, snip this right here, don't need it. And then snip the little piece right here. I don't need it. So now I have a band. Do you see the joint right there in diagonal? So that gives it strength. If I was doing it straight, it would pull. But because it's in diagonal, I get strength and you actually see it less. So let me do that for all the bands and then we'll move on to the next step. So the next step, once I have my band joined together, so I have 6 of them, which is going to be too long, but that's okay because what I do is that I keep whatever binding I have that's left over. I always keep it for small projects. I'm just taking it and folding it in half. And I'm going to press this. I got to press the entire length. Just like you would do for bias tape. It's actually pretty much the same thing.
These naysayers, we're better off, the air will be richer and everything's so much easier.
So now I'm ready to apply the binding to my table runner, and there's 2 schools. There's people who do binding by hand on large pieces but do it on machine for smaller pieces. I personally like by hand no matter what. But when you do it by hand, there's one side that's done by machine, the other one is done by hand. Usually the side that's on the front is by machine, then you flip it, and the side that's in the back you slip stitch it by hand. So, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So all you have to do basically is decide where you're going to have your joint, because the band has to meet at some point, right? To do the full circle. So I'm probably gonna do it somewhere around here, which is not in the middle. I'll leave about 10 inches loose. Just leave it alone. And what you do is that you take your band, put it on your lap or over your shoulder, whichever way works for you. It's not a lot, so I'm putting it on my lap. You're working with the front on top, and you see how my band is folded, right? I know it's hard to see because it's black. So the part that's open, you're going to put it right there on the edges. So this is the part here that has been ironed on. Okay, so you just apply that here, and you do, I'm going to take my seam ripper. You go at about 1/4 of an inch right here, and you're going to sew it all along, and then I'll show you how to do the corner. You can do it if you want your binding on the front to be a little bit thicker. or wider. But remember, when you do that, it will take away from the designs, right, that you have on the edges. Then you do a 1/2 inch or a little bit more. I like to do a 1/4 inch because the binding to me is just a quick, is a thin frame. I don't want the binding to be too visible. So I'm gonna keep it at a 1/4. So you just place that right here on the edges. Then you go to your machine and you're doing a straight stitch. You gotta use the walking foot. I'm using the edges of my foot to guide me along the edges of the quilt, the table runner itself, and I've placed my needle at a 1/4 inch from there, and you just keep going. So let's plant that. We're going to do a couple of stitches forward and a couple of stitches backward just to lock it in place.
I wanna jump around when I think about yesterday. Your smile, your style so fly, my oh my. As time stood still, I got the urge to steal a kiss, and
so this part is a little bit tricky because I'm coming onto the corner. So what do? I'm gonna keep going straight, right? And when my needle is here, see where my corner is, and I'm at a direct angle in front of it, I'm gonna stop, and then I'm going to sew, not straight, but into that corner. That's going to create the angle that I need. So I'm gonna do that. Hopefully you can see. It's hard to see on black. I realize that. And when I see that my needle is planted right in diagonal from the corner, which is right about one more. Yes, okay. Now I'm lifting my foot and I'm flipping this around, and I'm gonna do a straight stitching into that corner. Okay. Maybe you'll be able to see it. What do you do next, right? So I have this little angle that I just showed you, like this, that goes into the corner. So I'm taking the remaining part of my strip here that's unsewn, and I'm going to fold it this way, and it's going to follow that little diagonal. I'm going to press it, and it should go straight into the angle. I don't know if you see that. Okay. And then I'm going to flip it back towards this way. And keep it straight like this. Alright? So I have made my corner, and I'm going to start sewing from this edge here. And then you'll see when I flip it around that it basically creates the corner. Kind of like a mitred corner. Alright, so let's go back in. Same thing, planting the needle here at a 1/4 inch and going all along, and I'm going to repeat the same procedure for all 3 remaining corners. So I'm done. I've gone all around. This is the part where I started. You remember I left about 10 inches. So what I'm going to do, I stopped here, did a couple of stitches. So I'm leaving this big gaping hole here, okay, because I got to join them. So I'm going to cut right here for now. This is not the final cut, and this is basically what I got left. And I'm going to keep this because I may do a small, project in which I may need a little bit of binding. It's already done. Why throw it away? So I always keep my extra binding. So what I do now, I got to join those two. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, first of all, this is too long, so I'm going to cut it a little bit right here. Alright. So I cut it here, and then I'm going to put this over it, And you remember how long they were, how wide they were? 3 inches, right? So from here, I'm going to place this right here at the joint, okay? And I'm going to move this over like this, and from that part right here to here, I'm going to count 3 inches.
Big old house, we'd pass our days on clouds, floating around. Oh, since I met you, I feel unbreakable.
So now what I gotta do is join those two, and you're doing exactly the same thing you did with the other ones when I join all my bands together. So I bunch this together, take this one, I open it, I take this one, I open it, and they go like this. I do the same cross than I did for the other bands, and I'm making a diagonal from here to here, cut the excess, and when I unfold it, it's the right length. So you see I've done the same thing here, where I have one this way, one that way perpendicular, and I sew them on a diagonal. So I'm going to remove the excess here. Because I don't need that. That should be fine. Okay. And when I put it back together, here we go. The band is perfect. Actually did pretty good. Sometimes I gotta redo it, but this one came out pretty good. So you see there's no puckering, nothing. So now what do? I go back to my original stitch here and I finish it. Same thing, 1/4 of an inch from here all the way up to there, and the binding is done. I just gotta flip it around and do it by hand. And the binding is done, well, at least on the top. So all I need to do is take my binding and flip it to the back. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in close up. So you take your binding and you flip it to the back like this. And of course it's got to get ironed. So let's see what happens at the corner. So because you remember we did that little diagonal thing. So at the corner you push it both ways like this. Let me get right in the middle of the center right here of the camera, right? And you take your finger and you basically push it the other way, right? And this is what your corner is going to look like. Go like this, and you basically flip it, and here is your corner. So what I'm gonna do is flip the whole thing around and press it so that it's nice and straight. And sometimes during the week, all I have to do is go in the back. This is what it's going to look like in the back. Let me give you a close-up. There we go. So you see, for binding, I like it better when it's thin in the front. It's not a lot, because I just want a tiny frame, but I like to have it thick in the back. Now, I did it 3 inches wide, which basically gives me 1.5 inch to work on. Some people like 2.5 because they like to have the back matching the front. Everybody develops their own, you know, preferences. I personally prefer when the binding in the back is wider. Why? Because I kind of tend to mess up stitches and stippling and all of that, and I think it just looks prettier. So when you get to the back here, what do you do with those corners? You basically put one down like this. You flatten this with your finger and you bring it right here, right? And then keep bringing this way. And you do a couple of stitches right here to hold it together, but basically all of the edges here is what you slip stitch. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm going to iron it so I can show you what the top looks like. I'm not going to film myself doing the slip stitch. I'm going to do that on my own time, you know, in the evening when we watch TV or whatever. But basically this is done, and it's going to be ready to be gifted. So let me iron it. I'll be right back. So I have to put it on the floor so you can see it in its entirety, but here it is. I just got to do the binding in the back. I just got to do the slip stitch. So this is what it looks like with the black binding on it, right? And I like it a lot. And I really, really like this one. Oh, the heat is finally on. So while you probably can't hear me anymore, I gotta tell you, I like this pattern so much, I'm gonna make it again for myself with different colors, probably maybe Christmas colors or more muted colors, but I think she's going to love it, not just because it's cats, but also because it's her favorite colors. She loves purple and pink, and that's it. I'm done. So basically the furnace is telling me that I need to get out of here. I'm going to edit this video and the rest of the garage, and then I will see you next time. Thank you for sticking around for some quilting. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the basement. We got Willie. I don't know if they can. You behind the pillow. We can't see you.
Hi.
Hello. Willie's playing video games. Do you like the basement?
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. It's good. Okay, so that means it's great in his language. He's always underwhelmed. Man, my quilting has come a long way. You remember my first quilt? What a debacle that was. But look where I'm at now. All self-taught. I'm telling you, you gotta have patience. Catch yourself a hobby, ladies and gents. Find something to do that makes you happy. I really like this table runner. Comment down below if you want me to film the whole process of creating the L-shape desk and how I'm gonna organize my notions and stuff. I realize this is not a subject that's very fascinating to most of you who don't sew, but I know I have a lot of you who are into this or thinking about getting into it. If you're thinking about it, do it. That's all I have to say. Don't wait. Just go get yourself a machine and do it. I'm going to edit this video. It's Thursday night. It's what does it say? 5:45 maybe, something like that. So I have plenty of time. Thank you. Here's my clock, 5:49. Did you wind the clock?
That was Sunday.
Sunday. He's my clock winder, you know, for the grandfather's clock. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, you guys. Bye. Hey, it's me, and guess what? Click that thumbs up if you really like this video. Thumbs down twice if you didn't. You can also share my video if you really liked it, or save it to watch later. Also, you can subscribe to my channel, but don't forget to click that bell button so you are always notified when I post a new video. Thank you for watching.